Today's topic is...
Kit bashing.
Nah, I don't need another hobby.
Wait, you used to kit bash yourself all the time. What do you mean it's another hobby?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Wavepan. I'm Cal.
I'm Sunny. Today we're going to cover the kit bashing Civil War.
So, first off, I don't want to be sensational, but we have no other way of framing it.
It seems that there is not only a civil war between Games Workshop designers, design teams, or whoever is in charge of the models over there, but one that has divided the fans as well, as can be seen by our poll here.
So, here's the battle lines as we see it. Kit bashing is no longer a core part of the hobby.
Kit bashing has always been a core part of the hobby, and always will be.
So, as far as I can see it, this is a war with no bad guys, and I hope you will see your views represented. But I do have a bias, and I will be upfront about it.
Go for it, Cal.
I have always loved kit bashing, and I think it's no longer at the heart of the hobby. Not anymore, not really. It's being pushed to the edges, just like freehand, just like narrative campaigns, and a dozen other things that used to make this hobby feel wild and personal. Even when we do see kit bashing, it's often polished, pristine, high concept stuff. Even the most prolific converter, Pete the Wargamer's videos content is more about experiencing it from afar. It's not a haphazard mad dash for bits on the table and creating what you can. It's specific and planned and presented in the same sort of way that Gundam creators have their amazing build videos, where it's highly produced. It's not the chaotic joy of grabbing a pile of orc sprues, a ruined Bane blade, and a plastic spoon that makes it work. No, it's not that last minute Frankenstein before a campaign. It's not that I had a stupid idea and I just had to make it work. If you think that any of this is an insult, it's far from it. It's a compliment about the quality of the content, but it does say something about kit bashing. These days, kit bashing feels more like a Formula One race. Beautiful, professional, aspirational, but also something that most of us watch from a distance. And that's the part that hurts. Once something becomes too clean, too intimidating, it makes me fear for the future of the hobby as a whole. And that's not just a loss for kit bashers. That's a loss for all of us. Why this war? Let's start with the big question. Why is this even happening? And why is there a civil war around kit bashing? And honestly, it's money.
Yup.
We think that's at the heart of it. And yeah, that probably doesn't surprise anyone.
But to really show it, let's not look at Space Marines for once. Let's look at humans. Regular humans. Imperial Guard, Chaos Cultists, Gene Stealer Cult, all based on the same kind of anatomy.
Compare the kits from 2022 to 2025 and you'll see a sharp drop in how easy they are to kit bash. But one kit in particular is worth noting, the Tempestus Scions from 2017. Not ancient, but already part of a different era.
That kit follows a classic design principle. Separate torsos, legs, arms, real modularity. That means easy combination across kits and factions. That's the core of kit bashing.
Now compare that to the newer Chaos Cultists or the 2023 Cadians. The torso and legs are often sculpted together or sliced in ways that limit mixing. But here's what's interesting, that the visual separation still exists.
You can see the difference between the parts. Cadian parts under a Chaos torso, for example, you could tell a story about defectors. Cadian torso on Chaos legs, maybe they looted some flak armor. So the question becomes, why move away from that flexibility?
Because once you allow for true modularity, you open the door to third-party compatibility. Long before there was 3D printing, there were companies like Wargames Atlantic, Anvil Industries, and others others, making kits that could perfectly slot into these modular builds. Even today, you've got North Star military figures and the Perry twins.
You want a Celtic Guard? Grab a box of Celtic Warriors from Hail Caesar, a box of 40 for $75. You want industry?
Sonny, don't you mean 10 for 86?
No, Cal. This is the AUD, Australian dollar price. I am talking recommended retail prices. We can get them cheaper. Oh, you mean Games Workshop and 10 Cadian Troopers for 86?
And therein lies the rub. Don't you feel stung? Sure, you can say they're less quality if you like, but if they're 5 times less quality, look, I don't think so.
Games Workshop doesn't want to be part of the ecosystem. They want to be the only ecosystem. They're Apple. Their kids are the iPhone. You're not supposed to want to use anything else.
So how do you stop people from plugging in third-party parts? Make it harder. Make the joints more precise. Add weird joints, hide the seams, raise the barrier to entry.
But here's the twist. Inside Games Workshop, not everyone agrees.
And this is where we think the Civil War really is.
Because remember, when Games Workshop categorized their customers, they identified 6 types: casual players, competitive players, lore fans, painters, terrain makers, and kit bashers.
And kit bashers were a group that wasn't split into subtypes. No casual versus competitive, just kit bashers. It used to be seen as a core part of the hobby.
But now you have Pete the Wargamer on one end, clean, polished, beautiful builds.
And Mishmash, Lich's Lab, and all of the other Chaos Gremlins on YouTube that I love.
Still valid, still brilliant. But how often are they recognized? How often are they spotlighted compared to the polished and professional Pete?
And that's the tension inside Games Workshop, inside the community, even inside ourselves.
Which brings us to...
how hope
turns to villainy.
Once upon a time, being a kit basher was the heroic ideal of the hobby. Most people were average painters, but kit bashers? Anyone could be a kit basher. They had gumption, creativity, and grit.
Why was it seen that way? Because anyone could do it. You didn't need the skills to make the bills.
It's to pay the bills.
Just an idea, a knife, and a bits box. You could slap together your vision of the lore, your version of what a faction should look like.
Back in the day, if you wanted a Khorne berserker to look more feral and brutal, you grab a box of Catachan warriors, glue their beefy arms onto chaos torsos, and there you had it. They were rough, unrefined, but they had soul.
Sure, it was slapdash. Nobody had Mr. Hobby Tools or liquid green stuff, but it didn't matter. There weren't rules for doing it right. There wasn't pressure to be professional. There was just joy. Now comes the rise of the hobby spectator.
Today, it's a different story. Now, if you want a kit bash, you need a plan. You need parts from 2, sometimes 3 different kits, and those kits, they aren't cheap.
The economy plays a huge role. You can't just experiment when every part you cut wrong feels like you've set fire to $10. It turns something playful into something high stakes.
Then add the internet. The comment sections, the crabs in the bucket mentality, the people looking for a reason to pull you down.
Oh, I wish I could afford to buy 2 boxes to make that.
You should have used this kit instead.
You didn't even blend a joint, rookie move.
And sure, there's a lot of positivity out there too. We see it every day, but the brain doesn't work like that. We're wired to pay attention to negative comments, to the threat.
For most of human history, social rejection meant death. And now, one comment on Facebook, Insta, Twitter, Blue Sky, wherever you post,
it feels like the silent judgment of hundreds.
Even if he is the one jerk who can't shut up anywhere.
And it gets worse because we don't just compare ourselves to Pete, Mishmash, Lich, whoever. We compare ourselves to everyone, to hobbyists just posting their passion. Wherever they are, slowly but surely, that upwards comparison builds.
You think they did it right. I can't. So you step back. You watch. Pete's doing it. Liches is doing it. Hell, even Waypan is doing it.
But not you.
You couldn't possibly.
Better watch another video.
Wait for inspiration.
Wait for permission.
Wait, why does he think he's so good?
Time to comment, and the cycle starts again.
Meanwhile, the kits themselves aren't helping. More monopose, more multi-part precision joints, more opportunities to mess it up.
Each piece becomes precious and fragile.
One bad cut.
One missed pin.
One more crack in your confidence. One more thing killing your creativity. And it's not just about opinions, it's about fear, pressure, doubt.
But here's the thing. There are still people doing it, still building chaos from the sprues and stubbornness. And everyone is saying the same thing.
Just do it!
Have a go, you mug.
Seriously, all those people we mentioned, Pete, Mishmash, Lich's Lab, they'd cheer you on.
And the haters, they're just crabs in a bucket.
And we know what to do with the filthy Xenos.
The Fan Civil War. The community isn't just splitting, it's fragmenting.
And it's not always over kid bashing. Take detail creep. We make a video critiquing cluttered models, and suddenly we're accused of wanting Play-Doh miniatures.
Rather than engaging with each other's views, people go straight to the straw man. We don't want to hear opinions like, I think monopose models just look better. Instead, it's, just admit it, monopose models are better.
It stops being a conversation. It becomes a war.
Everyone thinks they're the hero. Everyone thinks the other guy is the villain.
People don't see it as about preference. It's about the survival of the hobby.
And what makes it worse is Games Workshop themselves naming this the Warhammer hobby. It's not the miniature painting hobby or simply the miniatures hobby. It's the Warhammer hobby, and it makes it an all or nothing game.
Which means when things change, it feels existential. If these buffoons keep getting away with it, I'm not going to have dynamic cinematic detailed miniatures. I'll have Play-Doh blobs.
And from the other side, if we don't fight for modular kits, soon we'll be playing with the same 10 guys in a row. No variation, no identity.
We at Waypan keep saying the same thing. It's about options. You should have the choice to build something complex or to keep it simple.
And no, that doesn't mean Play-Doh simple. It means Warhammer. It still has an aesthetic, but the point is, you deserve to have the freedom within that aesthetic.
The problem is, reasonable voices get drowned out. The middle gets lost. It's always either purity or chaos.
There may not be villains in this civil war, but there are heroes.
Plucky's Tabletop Parlor trying to make an annual kit jam, or like Waypans with our weekly reviews on Facebook and Discord.
There are people out there trying to make a difference.
And you can be one of them.
What to do? Who to hate?
Where do I go?
You're right here, and that's enough.
It's okay. You don't have to hate anyone, and you don't have to do anything yet.
You can be a hobby spectator if you want. That's okay.
Just don't let it turn you into a hobby hater.
Don't let fear paralyze you.
Don't turn into a hobby consumer who buys 100 products because you're scared to make that first cut. You don't need the perfect tool. You don't need the exact right thing.
The way you start is by starting. Nothing starts finished.
Pick up your clippers. Make that model.
Pick up that knife. Make that cut.
Make that first conversion, no matter how weird or rough it turns out.
And most importantly,
pick up that brush and
keep those brushes wet. Bye-bye.
Well, here's my Kit Jam entry, and it looks not so great. I definitely liked Cal's one better. It was so much more well thought out. There was too many options for me, in my opinion. His kit box is so extensive. But that's my little mini right there, my entry, and I got over my first hump.
So Anvil does this digital kit bash box. What you do is you can digitally kit bash models, but what I do is I just print them out so that you can physically kit bash them.
Yeah, and I guess because the box was so extensive, I didn't know where to start, and I was overthinking things a lot, and I saw your model. It had so much story and character to it, and I thought I could match up to that, but I just made something, and this is where I got. The topic was a breach too far, and I thought that Cal's one was more playful because these two people are in combat, and the guy was reaching for the boob.
Yeah, well, like, okay, he's not just reaching for the boob. I wanted it to be a bit more playful, right? Because when you take a look at it, it's the man fighting the woman. Obviously, the man has the advantage, is bigger, more muscular, all of this sort of thing. But she's also the noble. And when you look again, she's the one with the weapon.
Yeah.
And he's sort of struggling. He's being pushed down. And,
yeah,
you know,
and he's flipping her off.
Yeah. And it's meant to play with that idea of, you know, where is the breach too far? Him just flipping her off, meaning that she's allowed to shoot him or like...
Yeah, see, there's so much that you could build in your mind when you look at a model like that and just have so much thought and imagination from it. But mine, I was like, I don't know how to build a model that would bring up all these questions in someone's mind, right? And I just thought something simple. Okay, this guy, he really wants to be cybernetic. Everything has to be cybernetic to the point that he chops off his own head, and that kind of ruins everything because now you can't even think anymore and you can't get anything else done because we're dead.
It's the breach too far.
Yeah, it was quite a literal interpretation as compared to yours. I thought it was more creative. So I liked your one better because of that.
But I certainly have to say that one thing, all of the winners deserved their wins because like they used much more interesting methods and like materials and stuff like that. Like one guy was using like it was some sort of string or hessian or something to secure things, and like there was these interesting concepts. But I just want to ask you one question.
Okay.
How do you feel after doing one kit bash?
I feel that I can have room for improvement. So I think it might actually make me want to try making a better model next time. Like my burning fax machine diorama for Jean Jeanette.
Yes,
I am still open for that.
The Office Space.
Yes, that's the one thing that even until now I really want to make. So can you please just get on to printing me that fax machine so that I can just have that vision done and put away and look at it and laugh and go, heh, as I pass by my model.
I'll get right on that.
Okay, see you guys.